Hi y'all, this is Philippe the Learn to Grow guy. Today I want to talk with you about something that is very important. I am physically tired of the concept of having to put amendments on my garden beds every year for the rest of my life. And if my grandchildren decide that they want to do the farming, do the gardening, that they're going to have to do the same thing. I'm tired of that. I want to bring that to an end today. This is one of my garden beds. This was what I call the Savior's Garden from a couple of years ago. Because of all the garden beds that I planted, this was the only one that was successful. And one of the reasons I think it was successful is because I placed something in here from when I was burning the lumber, no, not the lumber, but the trees in that pile over there. And basically what we got out of there, we got a lot of charcoal out of there. This is another garden bed. I grew sweet potatoes in this one, and this one also had, tomatoes down at that end of the garden last year. This is a row of berries, along with an apple tree right here that I pruned not so long ago. This is grape, okay? I've got stuff growing over here. These are new trees I'm planning on planting out here in the gardens. This is the beds where my blueberries are. And of course I got another raised bed here. I've got the two other raised beds right there. Okay. I've got this garden bed where I had my melons last year. You guys are familiar with these blackberries that I have here. And you're also familiar with these grapes that I have here. Oops, what's this? Oh, electroculture. Looks like I have something I'm incorporating into these gardens this year. These are the garden beds that you have seen me pull potatoes, planted sweet potatoes in, planted garlic in. In the back there is where I have trees, where I have fruit trees. Okay, that one right there, I'm not sure if you can see it well, but nonetheless, I have trees back here. Okay. In here are additional trees that I've got, additional figs, and various other type of plants is what I've got in here that I plan on putting out to this year. This is a Dunstan chestnut tree. Right next to it, I've got a 5-in-1 stone fruit tree. Across the way from it is where the hoop house is going to go, and that's going to require a lot of good amendments to keep the gardens going for a long time. This area right there is going to be an extension of this garden bed here, where the greenhouse is going to be going. I've got apple trees and pawpaw trees planted over here. I've got Asian pears, apples, grapes, blackberries, yellow raspberries. I've even have I've got pomegranates and a few pawpaws that's going to be going over here also. I've got something else I need to show you, okay? I've shown you the places where I'm going to need amendments, okay? And what I just showed you is not even the whole thing. Okay, it's not even the whole thing. All I know is that I've got a lot of stuff I got a lot of grounds that's going to need a lot of nutrition and nutritious stuff so that the plants will bear me much fruit. However, I do not want to keep putting amendments in the soils on an annual basis. Okay, I've done some of that in the past when I was in Chicago. I started to do some in certain areas in the garden here, but I want to keep things as natural as possible. See this pile of sticks? There's piles of woods over here. You see them? You see the down trees? All the little parts that's left over. You see this huge pile of trees. It's a huge pile. See these pine logs? If I go back here and look back here, guess what I'm going to find? I'm going to find more material, more wood and stuff that needs to be burned up. I've got a down tree over there. I have them all over this place. See that? All of these. These are all resources that I can put to use. See that? Plenty of down trees. All of them. Good resources. And if you have any land, odds are you have some of this stuff too. Okay? And over here, this is where I was planning on burning a lot of this stuff. Look at this wood pile. Look at these boxes. Well, not the plastic, of course. The question is, why am I showing you all of this? Well, it's very simple. Excuse me. I intend on making biochar. All right? I need to be able to make the best biochar that I can make. The best way to make it is not to get a 55-gallon garbage can or oil can or whatever, and then put a 35-gallon metal oil can or garbage can on the inside of that, and burn wood inside the largest can and try to make biochar. That's not the best way to do it. The best way to do it is this here. I dug this out today. I made a pit over here. It's a cone. The pit is a cone. The very center there is the bottom of the cone. Okay? You can take it all the way around. I'm not sure how many cubic feet of material this is, but all of this material here came out of there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, as I burn all this material in this pit, I'm not going to have one big fire. I'm going to start at the very bottom, build a fire up by layers, and keep building up on it all the way to get to the top. I'm going to let that burn. It's going to be a slow process, but nonetheless, when it's done, what I'm going to have is the same volume of material you see here. I'm going to have the same volume of material there as charcoal. Those of you who've been with me for a while, you know right here in front of the cabin, I have always grown comfrey over here. Comfrey makes some very good comfrey tea. I don't just have pine trees in this area, I also have an area that has deciduous trees. Those areas there, just as I've shown you before, when I collected leaves, I have plenty of leaves, which means that under those leaves, in those wooded areas, there is plenty of the leaf mold. Okay, there's also wood chips that I have, meaning that I can have plenty of stuff where I can get plenty of fungi filled stuff, as well as, if I need to, I've got neighbors with chickens where I can get some chicken poop. And why am I telling you all this stuff that I'd be looking at trying to collect? Because right here I have two 35-gallon plastic containers that I can make compost tea in. What the compost tea will allow me to do is that it will allow me to inoculate the charcoal that I'm going to make. And when the charcoal becomes inoculated, basically what's going to happen is that it's going to be transformed to dun, 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 biochar. Say it with me, biochar. Biochar is the same material that they found in South America. I think they call it something preta. Don't quote me on that one specifically, but it's been around for more than 1,000 years. It's very fertile stuff. What man has decided to do is that once they discovered that it was very fertile material to grow plants in, they started harvesting some of that stuff and shipping it all throughout wherever, and whoever want to buy it, they can buy it. Okay, but my whole thing is that why go down there? Why not make your own here? So the key thing is you have a lot of stuff, whether it's meat, chicken bones, egg shells, whatever it is, you can put all that stuff in as you burn your wood. And basically all that stuff the bones, the eggshells, all that stuff becomes charred. It becomes charcoal. And all you have to do is inoculate it with some compost tea. You can use a bit of compost from your compost pile that you already have. You can put all that stuff in the teas. And I'm going to be making two 35-gallon containers of the stuff on a regular basis. As I go through the woods, I collect all of the down trees. I'll cut them up and I'll make biochar. I've shown you not all. I've shown you a lot of the different places where I want to incorporate the biochar in. If I can incorporate the biochar into beds, that stuff should be there for a long time. And for those of you who are not sure what biochar is, you can look it up further. What you'll find out is that the little cells within the charcoal that becomes home to some of the fungi, the bacterium, all that stuff that's out there. It also absorbs a lot of the nitrogen and other minerals and such that you're going to put inside of the 35-gallon buckets to make your compost tea. It'll absorb a lot of that stuff, and it releases that stuff. And besides that, it's also another way to keep carbon in the soil. Keep in mind that compost is not the only material that you need to put into your soil. If you can because here's why I'm saying this, okay? Because the compost you're going to put in there is going to get used up over the years, okay? And with biochar, it doesn't get used up. Carbon will stay in the ground for hundreds, if not thousands of years. Okay, so which means that when the time comes that my grandchildren, provided that Christ doesn't return yet, by the time when my granddaughter, and if I get any additional grandchildren, by the time they're able to take this over, if they choose to continue to do the gardening and everything that I'm trying to do down here, they should have some very fertile soil that'll last throughout their lifetime. Okay. Anyway, that's my plans. I'm sharing with you what I'm doing, and I know that spring has not sprung yet, because if you look behind me, you'll see snow on the ground. Yeah, I wasn't looking forward to that. So anyway, that's what I'm looking at doing. When the time comes that I start to do the first batch of charcoal, you'll be seeing the video coming out. Okay, y'all take care. Oh, by the way, if you have not subscribed, liked, oh, or shared, okay, please make sure you do so. Okay, y'all take care.